Crew Pros, your single source for high quality, affordable home services. If you are remodeling, repairing, or replacing, Crew Pros are the professionals that can do the job no matter the size. If you are thinking of remodeling your kitchen or bath, needing a new HVAC system, plumbing repairs, flooring, or a complete roof replacement, call Crew Pros. Crew Pros, proud sponsor of the Grizz 901 podcast.
Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said, I don't have that fire in my eye no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Grizz 901. I am your host, Daniel Greer, and we are presented by Zach Jaworski, State Farm, where they treat you like family. If I can ever just get this up here, like I'm trying to push the buttons. I suck at it. But Zach Jaworski, State Farm is our proud sponsor. Just go check those out. We'll have a blurb here in a little bit midway through the show. But today we're going to cover a lot of things Grizzlies, but we're also going to tell you a little bit about the ESPN's top 100 players. We'll share with you where the Grizzlies all are. Little spoiler alert, we have not seen Ja Morant. So that means he's in the top 10, baby. And he shouldn't be 10th. So let's just keep on. And then we're going to hit on maybe the NBA trade rumors, what we have. We're going to hit on Jae Crowder in that. And then we'll end with Nate's Neat Nuggets. For that, let's go ahead and bring in our guy, Nathan Qualls. What's up, man?
Dude, I feel like I've made the big time. Got intro music. I thought that was just going to be for Nate's Neat Nuggets, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it, man.
You know what? Why not? We'll have it for Nate Needs Nugget too. We'll kind of have some fun throughout the show. And then we're going to keep bringing new things, right? Why not? Every time I see something, I'm like, hey, there's another button. Let me see what it does. And so I found music, and it's all preloaded. So I don't even know if I can change it, add to it, take away. I don't know. But here we are. But thank you for joining us on our live stream. We're the Grizz 901 crew. We're part of Grizz Lead, which is a part of the Lead Sports Media. And so Nathan and I do the afternoon midweek show. And so we did not have a show on Monday. We just didn't have the content. And honestly, I was enjoying football so much. I was winning money. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I lost so much money the previous Sunday. This Sunday, I was actually able to win some money. So it was nice. But we're here. We're back. This is going to be a 45-minute show, so I don't want to take too much time. I have a busy day. I have to get back going throughout my day. So let's go ahead and get into the Grizzlies and the ESPN's top 100 players. Nathan, we've released now 11 through 100. First of all, are there any crazy surprises for you so far?
I mean, we'll get into it in a little bit, but I was pretty surprised that Matisse Thybulle is not going to make the list. I mean, technically we have 1 through 10 left, but he's not going to be a top 10 player. So that was really surprising to me. I thought he would be somewhere on that list. And unless I just scroll past him in the 50 times I've been going through looking at it, he's not on it. So that was pretty surprising to me. But other than that, not a ton other than what we will get into later on. We're going to be talking about some of the things we think are too low or too high, but that was really the only one that super stood out to me is he didn't make the list at all, which I thought was kind of crazy.
I have one for you before we get into the Grizzlies players. Bojangles, that's how we reference him with the Jazz. The Jazz have two players. That's Clarkson and Conley. Bojangles was left out of the top 100. Is that a snub?
Yes, but it's an unsurprising snub. Okay. He's a guy that moves. He's a guy that moves the needle, but not in our hearts and our souls. And NBA is a big culture sport, so it kind of makes sense. One that I actually didn't think about till just now, Tyus isn't in the top 100.
Oh,
Tyus didn't make the top 100. I didn't think about that till just now.
Yeah,
that's a snub.
Yeah, for sure. I do believe Tyus should be in the top 100. That's a good one. I had a couple others before we get into the Grizzlies. Norm Powell was snubbed. I don't think Norm Powell is awesome, but I think he's a very good player. I think he could easily be in the top 100. Herb Jones, which I love. I think he's coming on. I think Herb Jones could have a shot to be there. Jabari Smith. He was obviously drafted this year, one of the top drafts, and potentially all the way up until an hour before the draft, he was the number one overall guy. He was the guy that was going number one, and he's left off this list, as well as Chet. Chet probably because of injury.
Yeah.
But I would imagine you leave Chet off too, because the only person on here is Paolo from the draft classes. I'm sorry, Keegan Murray was number 100, so he was on there. So those are a few that kind of, I guess, stuck out to me that were left off. So any other ones before we hit the Grizzlies?
Nah, I'll say before we get into it, I'm not too big on worrying about the rookies and where they're at. It's the rookies. I'll have one thing to say about it, but if Scotty Barnes can be 39th, Herb Jones should be somewhere in there. I'll leave that there, but we'll get into all that here now.
All right, so the Grizzlies, you can see in the bottom of the screen, we have it scrolling. Clark is 94, Dylan Brooks 77, Bain 68, Jaren Jackson Jr. is 53. What do you see? What's crazy? What's justified? Because I think you can go so many different directions with our crew, our 4 of our 5 that will be in the top 100.
Well, I was really happy to see BC make the top 100. Again, I think Tyus not making it in there is a big snub. We also were talking about this in the group text that McMahon, Pelton, and Bontemps probably got half-baked at McMahon's place and then started throwing names on the board. So that's all for hashtag content. But there's a reason those guys get paid the big bucks, and we're out here doing it for kicks and giggles. That being said, DB 77th, I'm happy with that. I think both him and BC have a chance to outplay where they're at on that board, but can't really argue with where they've been put on there. The ones that I know everybody in Grizz Nation and Grizz Twitter is going to be upset about are Bain and Jaren, which Bain, it's interesting because he was able to do this on such a big stage in the playoffs and show how much of an impact player he is. He's not just the guy who stands in the corner and knocks down threes like he was his rookie year, but I think that stigma is still on him a little bit because that's the only reason you have him behind. And this is who they have right ahead of him: Jalen Brunson, Miles Turner, Russell Westbrook, Jeremy Grant, RJ Barrett, Jalen Green, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, who I mean, all time a great player, but falling off last year. Tyrese Halliburton, he's 13 spots behind Jordan Poole. Yeah, I don't think so. There aren't 67 players in the NBA better than Desmond Bain, but he's going to show us all that this year. And then Tripp, 53rd.
Yeah.
He's the only one on the first team all defense that didn't make the top 50. The only one. It's insane. That's nuts. I mean, you have Bridges is the closest one at 49th. Draymond at 43rd, which I actually think is low. Marcus Smart, 34th. Gobert and Giannis are both going to be top 25. Was Gobert in that last list? 11 through 20?
Yes. Yeah, Gobert was
18th. So Giannis will be top 10. Adebayo, who was second team all defense, was 23rd. You tell me Bam Adebayo is 30 spots better than Jaren Jackson? Really?
Yeah. Right.
Come on, man.
I agree. Yeah, I don't get that, but in the end of the day, this is just a list from people that have come together to put some ideas together. And so, if you have any comments, we'll go ahead and try to put them on the screen. You know what? Maybe we won't. I don't like that actually. I thought we would. I thought it would show the old ones,
careful.
but it doesn't. It only shows the new comments. So I apologize about that. I was hoping to bring up some of the old comments that we had already, but yeah, shout out to the people who are chatting with us over on YouTube. Join us, hang out. So, yeah, this is the sender that we're talking about. And this is from Chris, our guy. People don't watch the Grizzlies. That's all. And that is true.
And I'm not mad.
And you know what, honestly, this is probably a hot take. I know the disrespect for the Grizzlies has been there in the past years. I believe that it's still there a little bit, especially now that Ja was the beloved one, and now he's tweeting more, talking more. He's better, and he's beating other people's favorite teams and favorite players. And so people are now saying, he's overrated, all this other kind of fun stuff, which is it's kind of laughable, honestly. But I kind of enjoy our Bally's crew. And so it sucks because I have to listen to these other announcers that I really don't love on TNT and ESPN and ABC. And so I hate that because Pete and Brevin are magical. And I don't know if you can be better than those guys. And so it's funny. But what I will say is I was shocked to see Brandon Clark on the list. Being top 100, I think that was because of his playoff little spot there against Minnesota. Big stage. I think people are paying attention to you in the playoffs. And so I think that's important. But Bane being 68 is very laughable. Like, he should be much higher than that. He will be easily top 50 after this upcoming season. He's too good of a shooter to not be, right. So I think that he's a guy that will easily be in the top 50. I think Jaren, if it wasn't for injury, I think he's there as well. I think he's in the top 50 because he got injured again. They're probably going to make the excuse that the injury was the issue, and that's what kept him out of the top 50. But I agree. There's no way that you keep either one of them out of the top 50 next year. No way. I don't care what you say. There's zero chance you keep him out of the top 50.
Well, you have the injury stuff, and I understand the injury concerns with Jaren, but outside of health, you wouldn't want maybe two of those guys over him for as far as the all defensive teams go. And guess what? He played 2 games or 78 games last year. So, like, the health thing doesn't even matter at this point. And also, we got somebody in the chat that said this, but Evan Mobley is at 36th on the list. 36, who was also hurt last year, right? Yeah, there you go. That's the one that gets me. I mean, me and Chris talked about it when the 2K ratings came out, just sort of messing around, but now it's on the ESPN rankings that he was 36. That's 20, almost 20 spots ahead of Jaren. Yeah. Dude, come on, makes no sense. Scotty Barnes, 39th. I wrote down the names that really bugged me that were ahead of him. Barnes, Domantas Sabonis, not better than Jaren. Domantas Sabonis really does. It's laughable. He made the top 50 at this point. Cade Cunningham at 35th. Like, I get that these guys come in and you expect a bit of a jump in their play, but really, you're going to put him at 35th. Wiggins was 32nd, which after the playoffs, he had a great playoffs, so I understand it. But if you're asking me who I want out of all those guys versus Jaren, the only one there's really a conversation with is Mobley, and he hadn't shown me enough yet to say, yeah, I want Mobley. So, again, it's just a list. It's something that I think is good to have a chip on their shoulders, but it gives us something to act like we're at least mad about and infuriate ourselves about and then get on that wagon. So, yeah, I'm pissed.
We're pissed. So real quick, the other notes I had is there are 7 Celtics. Yeah, 7 Celtics in the top 100. And obviously you just had Jaylen Brown come out. Jaylen Brown was 22. You have Tatum, who's going to be a top 10 player. That was to have 7 players in the top 100 is just crazy to me. They are deep, and that's why they're ranked number 1 overall. The Cavs had 6, and that was the 2 leading teams. All right, 2 teams that did not have any players between 26 to 100. Can you tell me who did not have any players? What 2 teams did not have any players between 26 to 100? I need some thinking music.
Put on the Jeopardy music. I was going to say the Pacers, but Halliburton's a Pacer.
The Pacers have 3.
The Kings have Fox and Sabonis. I forget about Sabonis. Who was irrelevant?
One of them's going to shock you, and one of them's going to be like, oh, I get it.
Spurs
have 0 in the top. They have 0 in the top 100. There's no way they have anybody in the top 10.
Yeah. All right. That one makes sense.
One more team that won't make sense, and you'll be like, oh. So nobody in the top 20.
No, he's not there. Mavs.
20, huh?
The Mavs. No,
the Mavs have 2 in the top 20, top 11 to 100.
11 to 100?
Yeah, they have 2.
Who do the Mavs have?
Huh?
Who do the Mavs have in there?
They
Brunson's not a Mav
have
anymore.
the guy who they just got. What's his name? Who's the guy they just traded for?
Dinwiddie.
No, they have Dinwiddie and Christian Wood. Sorry, drew a blank with Christian Wood.
Forgot.
So you have Christian Wood and Dinwiddie already, right? So that's 2. Obviously, you have Luka going to be in the top 10. You want me to give it to you? And the reason is because they have 2 players in the top 25, I think. Yeah, 2 players that just got unveiled today.
It's not the Nuggets.
2 players.
Hold on. Give me 15 more seconds to look through the league.
2 players that are 11 to 25.
Houston's got one. Orlando.
Anybody?
Utah.
Anyone?
I'm going to take up too much time. Golden State has someone. Go ahead.
The Clippers. Paul George and Kawhi are both. There you go. Paul George and Kawhi are both in the top there. So yeah, easy enough. And the reason is I'm going through my notes. I have a tally next to every team. I'm putting the teams in there as I go and look through them, and I'm like, all right, why do I have 29 teams? Who else sucks? And so I was looking through there trying to figure out who else sucks. And I could not figure out exactly who it was. And so finally come to find out it was the Clippers. And so something else, the Lakers have 2, right? They have Russell Westbrook, and they just got AD in the top, 11 to 100. I don't know what he was.
He was
AD
right
was
at
20th. Yeah, and so LeBron will be in the top 10. That was funny to me, just looking at these top-heavy teams. The Nets didn't have that because they had Seth Curry added in there with Simmons. But it was very funny to look at why teams are good and why teams are not good. And the top-heavy teams, they're not deep. They probably the rest of the Lakers are 101 to 500. I don't know how terrible some of these players are on their Lakers team, but it's just fun.
Are Reggie Jackson and Isaiah Hartenstein, are they both Clippers still?
Okay. Zubac, somebody's on there.
Didn't they just get Zubac? Still a Clipper?
Yeah, I believe so.
He should be in the top 100. I know Chris will like that comment, but that dude should be top 100.
I thought he left. I don't know. I know.
He might be.
I know one of them.
Either way, he's not in there, and he should be. That dude is a sneaky, impactful player. But
I agree.
Anyways, I would have never guessed the Clippers. I didn't even think about it.
Yep, it was pretty funny. But I think that they are a team that is going to be good, but they have nobody else on that team that's in the top 100. So in LA, they have a combined 5 total players there. But in the top 100, I'm going to go through these names in no particular order, and these are the 10 names that you're going to see. I'm going to let you kind of guess where you think Jae is, and then we'll end this and go to Jae Crowder. But Giannis, LeBron, KD, Ja, Booker, Tatum, Embiid, Steph, Luka, and Jokic. It's 10 names, 10 players, top 10 players in the world. We'll just be crystal clear on that. Where do you think Jae is?
I'm betting they put him at 10.
Yeah. Because how do you put it? You can't put him over Jokic or Luka, right? Can't put him over Steph.
Or Embiid.
Tatum just went to the finals. So how do you put him over Tatum? Booker obviously has a longer tenure in the league. He's much better. And then KD, LeBron, and Giannis. So I think there's no way you put him above 10, but I think he's going to be at 10. And I think that you're going to see probably Ja and then Booker more than likely. I would say in that direction.
I would say, I'd say if he's going to be above anyone on that list, I would have him at 9 above Booker personally. But they won't do that. I can understand arguments putting Booker above him, even if I disagree with them. But I bet they put him at 10. If they put him at 9, it's because Booker's at 10.
Yeah. Who do you think goes 1? Giannis. You probably got Giannis, LeBron, KD, Jokic. You think Giannis is number 1, even though Jokic your back-to-back MVP?
Yeah, they'll do Giannis. He's a media darling, and 2, he is the best player in the NBA. He just no one can do what Giannis can do. It's freaky. It's like when Chris did his Jaren deep dive earlier in the summer. He compared him to Giannis. And I was sitting there and I came on the podcast. And I was like, just to be clear, I don't think Jaren could ever be Giannis. But I do like the comparison. It's just that will never happen. Giannis is a freak, man. And he's easy to root for. Great Twitter follow. A++ Twitter follow, by the way. So
I agree.
Yeah, Giannis will be number one. I'd be very shocked if he's not.
I don't know, man. There's so many good players there. I don't know. You couldn't put Jokic there. I think he's the best basketball player. Like, I think he does the most for his team. But Giannis is probably the guy who you put it there. But that's tough because Steph just won a championship, right? Just won a championship. So he's got to be top 5. And so you're talking about, Luka's probably going to be outside the top 5, but he's the MVP favorite majority of, I know he was last year and then probably this year going into it. KD, LeBron, it's crazy. The talent is crazy. The next guard is coming. Luka, Ja, Booker, Tatum, they're coming. Like, the old heads are kind of getting out of the way. The people that are my age that are still playing, it's crazy. They're dominating. All right, let's go to the next one. NBA trade rumor, just something just came out, and it was it kind of took me off guard, caught me off guard, I guess. And it was Jae Crowder, and I know Jae Crowder has been a Grizzly in the past, and he was here right when the switch and everything was like changing. Right, it was a big changeover, and they needed some vets. Him and Solo were huge for this team, the franchise in general. And I like Jae Crowder as a player, but Jae Crowder is now 32 years old. He's making roughly $10 million a year. First question, let's keep money out of it. Let's keep trade packages out of it. Do you like Jae Crowder, and do you like him for this team?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
that's simple.
Yeah, it's simple. I like him for the team. He's a guy who was very impactful on John Morant when he was a rookie. Very impactful for the team getting to where it is today. And the team loves him. Ja loves him. And we've talked about it all offseason. What this team doesn't have is established vets. You have Danny Green, who's got a championship pedigree. That 100% will help. But he's not going to be on the floor. And it helps to have that guy on the floor. And I think bringing a vet in that is super familiar with Ja loves him. The rest of the team loves him. And he can speak to that mindset. And there's an established respect there from a guy who, despite the fact he tweets everything in all caps, it keeps a level head and can keep sort of the ship at level through the high tides and the low tides, is super impactful. And then, listen, what the team has progressed to a point, you don't need Jae Crowder to do what you were asking him to do Ja's rookie year in 2019. He can just stand in the corner, shoot threes, and play hard defense, which is something this team could 100% use. So, I would love him on this team.
Okay. Well, he makes $10 million a year. I said that, a few seconds ago, but does it worry you at all that they're willing to come off of Jae Crowder and the Phoenix Suns, who are competing for a championship again? I would imagine. Like, what is he standing in the way of, and what does he hinder that they're willing to trade him? And the fact that if they're willing to trade him, how important is he for them? What do they see that maybe we don't? But also, what do we give up? Those are a lot of questions. So any thoughts at all on that?
I don't know why they would put him up. So I guess it's a question mark as to why they would start putting him up and have him available. But I mean, I'm looking back at his stats from last year. He shot 39.9% from the floor, so that's great. But 34.8% from three. It's not amazing, but it's what you would ask him to do. What do you got? Steal and a half a block, 5 rebounds a game, 9 points. I don't know. What it tells me is I think more so the Suns don't think what they have will get the job done. I think that tells me the Suns think they are missing something and they need to free up room to make that happen because their championship window is closing rapidly. Chris Paul's not getting any younger. He's got a history of injuries. Devin Booker, while he's awesome, has never proven he can be the guy on a team, right? So you kind of want him to have a Chris Paul type player. He could be the best guy, but he needs another guy that's neck and neck. So
Yeah.
it just tells me that they need another piece, and they're trying to free up room to go make that piece happen. More so they want to get rid of Jae Crowder.
Yeah. Well, what I look at as well is, I'm looking at the money aspect of it, because that's really what I pay attention to the most is why would they get rid of him, right? What would they get back for him? Does that free up them to go get a free agent? Are they looking to free up money to go get somebody else? Because the Grizzlies have some cap space that they could actually bring back more and give up less. But a championship team that's weird that you would do that, because I would think as a vet, boss man would say, hey, I'll take a step back. I'll come off the bench, whatever you want to do, or I still start, but I'm playing 22 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game instead of 29 or 30. So it just doesn't make sense to me, because I don't know why you'd give up a vet, because what do you get back for $10 million that somebody would be willing to give up that you would want, and that they would want Jae Crowder over that player? Why? I don't understand that.
Well, I just think they need something different. I think that the caliber of player Jae Crowder is great and fine for them. I think they need that caliber of player in a different spot, because you look at their wings, they got wings on wings on wings, right? I mean, they've got Bridges, Payne, who is a guard but could basically be a wing because of how long he is. You've got what's his face, Cam Johnson, Devin Booker, Chris Paul. You've got a ton of vets already.
Yeah.
So, and the main thing that I think Jae Crowder brings is defensive versatility more than anything. He can sort of be a 3-and-D type of player, and they've got that in spades, right? They've got a ton of it. So I think they just want something different. I'm curious, do you know how much money the Grizz have? How much cap space the Grizz have? I'm sorry. Because I put the money down here in my notes.
Many a times. Yeah, so I don't know. Do you know?
No, I have no idea. You said they had some extras money, because I was looking at that was the next thing I was going to bring up is the contracts.
Yeah, so I know. So he's on an expiring deal, and so I know they have at least $5 million. I'm not exactly sure what it is, because the reason I know that's $5 million without looking into it is because any trade I do, I have to get to that. I got to get to that level, that $5 million difference. So right now I have a package of $5 million and for Jae Crowder at 10. If I go less than that, it doesn't work in the NBA trade machine. And so without giving up any key pieces, any of the rookies, John Conchar just got signed to a new deal. There's nobody else that you'd want to trade, in all honesty, other than Danny Green. And that's obviously a given. You give up Danny Green
back.
Yeah, exactly. Send Danny Green and you get Jae Crowder. If you want to do that, that's fine. 1 for 1, that's fine. What else do you do? I have no clue. I have Santi Aldama, Xavier Tillman, and Killian Tilly, because you got to have right at a little over $5 million to make that all work. And that actually works. But that's my question. Why would the Suns do something like that? Doesn't make sense.
Well, they're not going to do Danny Green. That's not happening. Here's the other thing they could do. They could take back just a $5 million, have $5 million to go get somebody else that could be something. What if the Suns have decided that their championship window is so tight, they've got to start prepping what comes after? And so they're looking for picks, or they're looking for young players. Right now, it doesn't seem, because we're in such a mindset of, okay, we're building towards a contender. We're like, okay, what piece help you win? What if the Suns have gotten to a place that are like, we've reached about all we can with this team. We're going to give it another chance to run it back, but it's time to start planning ahead. In which case, if you're the Grizzlies, why not send a young player? You just drafted 4 guys, essentially, and you got 2 of them that you brought in to try and fill in the same spot. What if one of them is already impressive enough? You say, hey, this is going to be the guy that fills that spot going ahead. Because we'd love to have LaRavia and Roddy both really pan out. But what if you say, hey, I'm just saying, if you want LaRavia and Roddy to both be pieces for this team, but what if you give up one of those guys for a win now move? Not what Kleiman has done. It's not what this front office has done. what they did. What they said, we could use this vet to go win now more than we'd use these guys down the road. Now, I think that's a super long shot.
Just so we're clear, let me know when you're done. I might take notes on what we're doing right now because I can't wait. I don't want to forget my comeback.
This is going to be my Ryan conspiracy theory possibility.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Now, I'm just saying, why wouldn't you send one of these young guys? Now, LaRavia and Roddy, honestly, probably not. But
don't fall back on your comment.
No.
I'm saying you told me you're okay to give up.
What if on those guys? What if on those guys? I don't think that's what the Grizzlies would do. But would you give up Kennedy Chandler to go do it?
Yeah, I would give up Kennedy Chandler. I give it up for a bag of balls.
Would you give up John Conchar to go do it?
You can't.
Why can't you do Conchar?
He just got signed to a new deal.
Oh, I forgot he just got signed.
And he just got signed by Nike. Hey-o! Yeah, no, we're not coming off of Jitty. Jitty's better than Jae Crowder. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say that. Jitty is better than Jae Crowder. I don't care. Say what you want. Jitty's better than Jae Crowder.
Yeah. No, I can't see him giving up LaRavia and Roddy. That thought experience.
Don't fall back on that now.
No, I'm thinking through it.
The shark was circling.
I'm thinking through it to see. I mean,
all right, let's just be honest. Let's talk real quick. I got two things. One you're gonna love, one you're gonna hate. This is the one you're gonna hate.
David Roddy. Never.
David Roddy. Okay. So you're saying you would give up David Roddy and DeAnthony Melton for Jae Crowder? I just want that to be known.
Never give up David Roddy.
That's what you would do.
Right.
Jake LaRavia, who gets paid peanuts for the next 5 seasons because he's a first-round draft pick, you're going to give up potential that you've never seen for a 32-year-old guy who makes $10 million and wants a new contract for next year.
Yeah. No, you're right.
No, that's impossible. That's terrible.
That's why I backtracked. The more I thought about it, the more I was like, this is a horrible idea.
You knew it was coming.
I'll own it. Listen, shooting off the hip. I was going for it. But you're right. I wouldn't do that. Would you give it?
And you could do picks, but you got to make the money work, right? So I'm getting to where it's just money. I want the money to work first. After that, if you want to throw in a second round pick, that's fine. All right, what I've heard, and this is on the Chris Vernon show. I love Chris. He went off yesterday, and I know he did not. I know he did not mean 1-for-1 Jae Crowder for Dylan Brooks, but he brought up the fact that you put Dylan Brooks in the package. One, I don't know who else they would be willing to come off of. That would not make sense. Cam Johnson, why would they trade him? I don't know why. Mikal Bridges, you would have to obviously include other people. There's nobody else on their roster that I want outside their big three, right? Nobody else. So not even Damian Lee. I think we have enough guards. Yeah. So I don't know how that works. But if they traded an expiring Dylan Brooks for an expiring Jae Crowder to bring back a vet, to bring back somebody who shoots at a higher percentage and shoots less, to give shots for a Zaire, a Bane, a Ja, these rookies that potentially, have a clip. Would you be willing to do that, Brooks, for Crowder? Straight up. Maybe they included a second round pick, whatever.
You'd have to be in the Grizzlies mindset. You have to get picks back because you're going to have to include, they're going to send Jay and then, I don't know, send me Bismack Biyombo. See what happens. I think that makes the money work. Bismack Biyombo, Josh Okogie, Damian Lee, guys that will never play, but shoot, send me Bismack. Why not?
Wow. You would take that for
No, I'm saying if you include them, that's what they would do for the deal. I just like the idea of having Bismack Biyombo in a Grizzlies uniform.
We have
Xavier Tillman. Why do we need another guy? His name's Bismack Biyombo. It's fun to say.
No.
You're taking us completely off the beaten path. That's not where I was going with this. So we saw the same thing yesterday because I put the money down. I never even thought about LaRavia or Roddy until you said they had $5 million to work with in cap space.
Yeah.
But I had Dylan here on there after listening to Vernon and Roser talk about it, and I went and I started breaking down their stats from last year. So I did some comparisons. When you break it out, Dylan is a shooter and scorer by a significant margin. Much better than Jay is at that.
But he's
Jay
taking more shots.
He's taking more shots, but he's doing it at better efficiency too. Right? It's not just points. I went and looked at their percentages. He has a higher 3-point and field goal percentage than Jay. He's like
really
I think 1% behind in free throws, something like that. Jay is a better rebounder. Dylan actually has higher assist numbers. It's probably because he has the ball in his hands a little bit more, but has higher assist numbers than Jay. The thing is, Jay takes 5 less shots per 36, 9 less shots per 36 in the playoffs. 9. And so it comes down to a couple of things. Also, the defensive ratings. Dylan Brooks is a 113. Jay's actually 6 points better at 107 in defensive rating. So if you look at the defensive part, Jay's better, which makes better. He's got a better wingspan than Dylan by like 3 inches. So kind of makes sense. And he's built like a freaking brick house. But you have to be in the minds. You have to be in the front office conversations. Has Dylan accepted the role that we've talked about being the optimal role for him going forward? If he's accepted that, then no, don't do that trade. Makes no sense to do that trade. If you're battling with him and his ego and his mentality, I think you do the trade. Because Dylan's 26, so he's 6 years younger than Jae Crowder. Having him on a deal makes more sense long term going into his prime. But if you're going to have him on a longer deal, because you're going to sign him to a longer deal, if you're not going to this trade, that's the goal. He's not going to change his mindset going into his prime. It's not going to happen. So if that switch hasn't flipped, then bring somebody in who has that mindset. And that switch hasn't been flipped. He is the ultimate team player, the hustle guy, the 3-and-D defender guy. But I've been saying all summer, I think they talked with Dylan. He must have accepted that role if he's still here. I think they would have looked for ways to move him if not. But that's what it comes down to. That if you have to be in the front office conversations to know, but that's if I was the front office, where my head would land with those moves.
All right, last thing. I'm going to go out of here, moving on to the next subject real quick. But there's 0.0 chance that Dylan Brooks has accepted the role. I think he got pissed off and he left. I think that's what happened when the end of the year meetings. That's what I don't think he's accepted a role. I call BS on that. He's not that type of a guy. He's not that type of a player. He's going to move on and he's going to pretty much do what he can. Maybe he becomes good. Maybe he realizes like, hey, I have to figure out something to make more money. Like this is about money. This is about my pocket. So
What do we mean by role? Guess what? Because I don't mean 6-man role. I don't mean like total 6-man role. I mean hey, I'm number 4 guy.
He takes the second most shots on the team. That can't happen. He can be 3rd, maybe 4th, but he is not that type of player that I don't. What else does he do? Like his defense, I think is just a lot of effort. I don't think he's actually doing so much. I think he's a good defender, but I think it's a lot of show. And a lot of what he does. I don't think it's actually stuff that he does to make team wins. He takes a lot of bad shots. So that's what I mean. He has to take a lot less shots. Yeah. He still has to be good at a high efficiency. I don't know if that's the type of player he is.
That's where we're on different ends. I think he could accept that. I think he wants to win enough that he could do that. We'll see. We'll see. I anticipate he's still on the team. I don't think this trade happens. I'm not sure it makes a ton of sense for the Suns to bring in Dylan Brooks. So I don't think this trade would happen either way. But I think Dylan can change his mindset enough. So
if we trade Dylan Brooks for Jae Crowder straight up, that will be a bad trade. Just going to be honest. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into our title sponsor, Zach Jaworski State Farm. Zach and his team are awesome. Go check them out at 901-459-4227. You can find them on website at ZachInsuresMemphis.com, and that's ZACH, ZachInsuresMemphis.com. Zach and his team have been with me since, God, I wish, I don't even remember. It's been so long, but I think I bought a house back in 2008, and now it's 2022. Zach has been my insurance agent since then. And weirdly enough, Zach was, we worked together, both coming up in the, I guess, the business world. And so I got to know him a little bit as a little bit of a peer. I became a manager. He was not. And so I was still kind of his boss. I was a higher up person than him. And so found out he was going over to take over a State Farm agency. And honestly, he's been one of the good guys that I've trusted. I've known him for a long time. Incredible golfer. But one of the best top 5 golfers I've ever played with in my life. And I believe he used to play back on the Hooters tour back in the day. So if you like golf, you can call him. But let them know that the Grizzlies or the Grizz 901 team sent you there. Let them know Daniel, Nate sent you there. But yeah, go get a quote from them. I promise you, if you talk to their team and you just tell them what's going on, they can look through different things to try to find out what makes the most sense for you, how to save you a little bit of money. But yeah, I trust those people over there. Trust Zach as much as I possibly could. But Zach George, State Farm, 901-459-4227, ZachInsuresMemphis.com. All right. You know what time it is. What time is it? It's time for Nate's Neat Nugget. We got college football today. Let's go ahead, Nate. What you got, man? We're gonna go speed through these today.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like that intro. We got to find a different one. That was kind of weird. I was trying to vibe to it, and I was like, This feels like when I was hanging out with my my hazy friends in high school at the top of their attic. So, not a big fan of that. But yeah, we got some college football neat nuggets today. So NFL, it was hit and miss. The Bills, I hit on the Super Bowl. I hit on the Super Bowl favorites, right? The Bills should be Super Bowl favorites. The Chiefs being great minus Tyreek Hill, I don't know about that. That was probably hit or miss. There's a lot of stuff that could happen. Saquon didn't have a great day. Either way, I'm moving on to college football this week until we get some more NFL stuff that's more exciting. So this weekend in college football is going to be the weekend that trends are broken. And so we've got 3 things, going to hit on them real fast. But the number one thing, which I can be okay with because Tom Herman's no longer involved, Texas is going to beat the Red Raiders on the road and actually start to be back for real for once.
Wow.
I think that Texas is going to go down. They're going to beat the Red Raiders, who are not a great team by any means, but good enough that if Texas goes on the road and beats them, I think they get to probably a 9-ish win season, and they have a chance to really start to build something there. And Sarkisian has his quarterback back next season, maybe this season. I'm not sure how his shoulder looks, but I think that's going to be the number one trend that's broken. Number 2, Arkansas is going to go beat Texas A&M in College Station en route to their first double-digit win season in a decade. So Arkansas, when I was growing up, was sort of not a powerhouse, but they were always top of the SEC West, competing in the SEC West. But they haven't had one double-digit win since 2011 when they were 11-2. It's been single digits for the past decade. I think Pittman has a real thing going there. He starts this weekend. If they can beat A&M on the road, all they have to do, they just need to not lose to 2 of these SEC West teams who are their real competition. The BYU game, sort of, I think they can put it on BYU and go get 10 wins this season. But the main one, the University of Tennessee will finally beat Florida again. Do you know the last time Tennessee beat Florida is?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm actually a Gators fan, but
sucks for you.
I don't remember the year, but yeah, we were like 14 or 15 or whatever it was in a row. So yeah.
So I'm not a big Tennessee fan, but I think this is the year they finally go and beat them for the first time since 2016, and just the second time in the past 17 years. Yeah. The Vols have lost to Florida every time except once in the last 17 seasons by an average of over 2 touchdowns a game. And I think this is the year they finally beat them and are back on top. Will they make it last? I'm not going to give that. It's Tennessee. There's no telling what's going to happen. But at least they can finally beat Florida. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be neck and neck. I think Tennessee makes it super hard on themselves and squeezes it out. So I would take Florida points, but I would take Tennessee outright. It's a 10.5-point spread. It's double-digit spread. Take the Florida points. Take Tennessee outright. But those are going to be the three trends that are broken, and college football starts to flip a little bit, at least for 1 week.
Wow. All right, let's hit on yours. I'll go backwards. Gators fan, I think that this is a matchup that doesn't make sense. They literally always somehow figure out a way to look terrible. Both teams, like neither team will look good the whole entire game. Nobody plays a consistent game. I have my 3 best bets in college football. I'll give them after that. The other game, Arkansas, I do like that. I think that's a smart. You can get Arkansas for gambling wise, plus 1.5. They are plus 115 money line. So if you do like them, you can take the points at plus 1.5. You can take a point for some reason they lose by, I don't know, a point, and they're just, that might save you. But if you believe in the team, you probably go money line and take the extra money plus 115. Texas minus 6.5. Obviously, they're on the road at Texas Tech. Depending on their quarterbacks, I think that's a good bet, but I would not lay 6.5 points after coming off a pretty big showing. I know they didn't win, but moral victory, I think that's what they got. I think they're the better team, Texas Tech. I just don't know if they're actually going to respond and play well on the road. We'll see. But three best bets. And then we have obviously some breaking news on Robert Sarver that we'll get to right before we get out of here. Duke and Kansas, 2 of the best first quarter scoring teams in the nation. They both play. Take first quarter points. I believe it's at 14. So obviously 2 touchdowns. It's a push, but I believe there's going to be more than 14 points. But right now, I think the line is at 14. Take those. I think they cashed on every game they played. Tennessee, Florida is another one. Tennessee has a great offense. There's always something going to happen, especially with both these teams who are not good at defense. I think you can have this at minus, I think it's 13.5 is the total in that game. I would not play a spread, but 13.5, I think there's 14 points or more scored in the first. And a sneaky one, Charlotte. The first quarter over in the previous 3 games, they played 3 games so far, has all cashed. I've cashed every single first quarter. Charlotte is atrocious. Sorry. Charlotte is terrible. So if you like that, go Charlotte, South Carolina. South Carolina's not great. They just pretty much put up 7 points against Georgia. But when you play a Georgia team and then you go play a Charlotte team, you're going to go, oh my God, our offense works again. And then you get to go ahead and cash a bet. So that's cashed every time. Let's go 4-4 with Charlotte. First quarter total points over those 3 games. That's all we have on those. On Nate's Neat Nuggets, something we will show is Chris put this in the chat. Sarver is selling his teams, plural. So he is selling the Mercury and the Suns. Any thoughts on that?
That didn't take long.
There must be
For everybody that was
it.
all pissed off at Adam Silver about that. That didn't take long at all, did it? Mm-hmm. Listen, I understand Sarver is it's bad for the league to have that dude in there. I also thought that ripping on Adam Silver left and right about this was not fair to Silver either. It's a lot more complicated than firing your head of HR, right? It's
right.
This is a guy with billions of dollars who owns a team, and Silver's job is determined by the owners. So he really did have limited power in this, and this was sort of writing on the wall that this was going to happen. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah. I mean, good for the leagues. Good for the leagues to have him out, right? Maybe that's what Sarver was trying to put pressure on somebody to sell Jae Crowder to tank the team before this happened. Maybe that's what that came from. That was my first thought was, oh, he's just trying to screw the team. Booker will be on the block next. But, yeah, I mean, that's it. Sort of writing was on the wall, in my opinion.
Bad dude. I love to see the good guys win. That's known in my life. He's not one of them. So I'm glad that he is gone or will be gone. Obviously, it's a touchy subject, a touchy issue. It's a complicated issue, Chris said in the chat, 100%. And I don't want to spend too much time in it because I don't think it needs it. I think this is understandable. And I think when you get into legal battles, legal issues, a lot of times when it goes to court and it goes into a legal battle of some sort, whether there's more information that has to be found out, guess what? Usually your books, emails, such as the case of the Raiders coach, John Gruden, that whole thing happened because they went and opened up emails. Okay. So I don't know if anybody wants anything opened that they don't really think that should be open or they have that's private. And so I guarantee this is a point where you're like, hey, I'm just going to sell my team. At this point, people think I'm a bad dude. It is what it is. I still have my money. I'm just going to wash my hands. I don't want to have to fight this, spend more money, and try to eventually be completely blackballed in life. Enough's enough. I think he is a bad dude. And yes, it is complicated. I think he doesn't want it to get even more complicated. I don't think he wants all his personal stuff opened up even more. And so I think that's probably why. Anything else for you, Nate?
Nothing on that. I do have, just to close out the podcast, 10 days until the Grizzlies are on a basketball court again. 10 days, baby, till the first preseason game. 4 weeks till real basketball starts. So
wow,
it's coming. Good thing is my fantasy football teams suck. So I have something to look forward to.
Yeah. I'm 0-2. I drafted Dak, started him. I drafted a backup, Kirk Cousins, started him week 2. I now have got a free agent. I got Matt Stafford. He was available. Got him. Let's see what happens. Let's not go 0-3.
Yeah. I was up by 50 on Monday night and got Stephon Diggs. So that wasn't fun for me.
Yeah, that's not good. All right. That's all I have. We're going to be back here next week, Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know the schedule yet. But as the games come, I believe we open the season on a Wednesday. So I would say that on the 19th, the morning of, let's for sure do it that day. And so if you are a listener, if you're here on the podcast, come check us out live. It's the day of the game. I think it's going to be a lot of buzz around it. And so there's a lot of cool things to come, but also basketball is getting so much closer. And what do you know? We went over our time more than I expected. Whatever. Listen, I got to hop on the road. I got actual real work to do. So I have to hop on the road and head out of town because we have some meetings far away. And so I have to hurry up and get out of here so I can.
Same.
So go. Anyway. All right. That's all we have. Just remember, always subscribe, rate, review, give us a chance. Tell your friends. That's the biggest thing. But most importantly, be nice and tell your friends.